What's up, everybody? Morning. Let's see. It's cold today. It's been really cold the last 2 days, like, I don't know, 20 degrees or something, but the sun's out. That's kind of nice, but it's cold in here. I mean, you touch the steering wheel. I need some gloves. So, you touch the steering wheel and your body gets freezing cold, but that's all another thing. So anyway, quick, what I was thinking about today, I listened to Luke and Lewis's latest podcast over on Deep Healing Space. So if you haven't, go check it out. It's a good one. It's about an hour and a half long. And Luke brought up a pretty cool point. I just kind of wanted to expand upon it a little bit. And it was that health is kind of like compound interest, right? So for people who don't know what compound interest is, essentially it's something that is compounded on a time frame, right? So a really good example is like you put $1,000 in a bank account every year. It's compounded at a rate of 10% annually. And you do that every single year for X amount of years and watch your money grow. And so kind of what he's getting at is, like, you can Google compound interest calculator too and kind of play with the numbers if you really want to. But the idea is that, you do something simple, like let's pretend I'm a newborn and my dad puts $1,000 into a bank account. He says, this is for my son. I'll give it to him when he's 30, okay? And then every year, annually, he puts $1,000 more into that for 30 years, right? So if you do that over the course of 30 years, that would be $31,000, right? Now, the magic of compound interest is if it compound annually at 10%, that account would grow to, basically, it would almost grow to $250,000. So imagine that. In 30 years, $250,000, my dad could gift that to me, right? Because every year it's taking that 10% and it's applying it to the new amount of money in your account, and then that grows it a little bit more, and then that grows it a little bit more, and then over time that 10% becomes a really hardy chunk, you know what I mean? So, but in the first year, right, what's 10% of $1,000? Well, it's $100. Who cares about $100, right? Long-term thinking anyway, right? But and then the next year it would be like $110, and then the next year it would be $121, doing math on the fly, right? But you get the idea, right? That it literally will begin to grow and grow and grow. So at first it might kind of grow a little bit slower, but then when you're at $250,000 and then you're at 10%, I mean, that's $25,000 right there. So it's pretty fun little amount of money to play with. So it's the same thing with health. I agree with that. When you first start the program, I felt like, you get signs that you're doing the right thing or whatever, but you're not where you want to be. Like, everybody kind of wants to have that. I'm 18 years old. I rolled out of bed. I'm like infinite energy, kick butt, hoorah, kind of like feeling and vibe and all that kind of stuff. And when you're doing a program like nutritional balancing, sometimes it's more like I feel like a pile of sludge because I'm detoxing this and this is happening and all this other kind of jazz, right? And that happens, and it can happen for quite a while, you know what I mean? I think Lewis also said in that podcast that I'm recommending on Deep Healing Space that he's kind of at that point now where he's like, he's got health and he can do whatever and not really worry about things, whereas at one point in time you would have to worry about, well, maybe I shouldn't stay out too late. Well, what about this? Because his body would always respond negatively, or, if you strained it too hard, it wouldn't be able to handle the stresses. But now, I don't know, he's been doing it for 7-8 years maybe. So, pretty veteran. And he's like, yeah, I can do anything now, and that's pretty cool. So, anyway, such a healthy individual, right? I don't know what it is with this coffee. I think it's the heater being on at night because it's so cold and it's just super dry. Not making excuses, just telling you that I think that's what it is. So anyway, that's all I really wanted to get on today. Just the compound interest mindset is a pretty good one. The thing people don't like about it, especially in today's world where everything's so instant, you know what I mean? People can't think 30 years into the future. You know what I mean? It's too slow. But the reality is, let's pretend you live to be 120, 30 years, that's nothing. 60 years is the middle way point of your life. So if you're healthy at 60, let's just say you have like good mobility and good cognitive function and like you're not aching and sore, you took care of yourself, then you got a whole nother 60 years. I mean, think about that. So Think about that compound interest if you think about that. So anyway, that's a fun little like analogy. Just kind of want to throw it out there, and y'all have a good day.